gotta say, this video was a lot harder to put together than I initially thought, because you have to look at your bookshelves and pick out the books that you forgot about, which is kind of ironic. So don't mind me, I just currently have a lot of memories surfacing in my brain right now. Hi everyone, my name is Holly, and in today's video I am going to be talking about a stack of books that I have next to me that I keep forgetting that I own. So ever since I started a booktube channel, books are a lot less forgettable to me because I tend to write reviews for most of them, or I jot notes about them as I read them for my wrap-up videos, and I genuinely have a memory attached to most of my books of where I got the book and when and why I bought the book in the first place. It kind of just comes from your love for books, right? Well, I guess there are some special cases. As you guys know, I do bi-monthly book unhauls, which means every now and then I take a nice good look at my shelves and ask myself if I'm satisfied with the books that I have. And I spotted a few books that I completely forgot that I even own. I'm a bad book mother, I know. It literally feels like losing a child in the mall. So I thought it would be fun to center a video completely around these books that I have severely neglected. Most of these I haven't read, but some I have, so let's get into it. The first book that I keep forgetting that I have is I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson. After finding this book deep down in the depths of my bookshelves where all of the evil dust bunny monsters live, I was like, oh yeah, you exist. This is an adult contemporary? Is it adult? Now I'm questioning myself. I don't know. But the C word, contemporary, there's your reason for me forgetting about it. I'm attracted to blood, swords, and mercenaries, okay? This is a very well-loved book. You can tell by those annoying little stickers that are on its face. And it's following twins Jude and Noah, who are inseparable. Noah is an artist and he likes to draw, and he's attracted to a boy who is his next door neighbor. And then there's Jude, who is kind of a rebel type. She cliff dives and she's kind of like a daredevil, I guess. And many years pass and the reader finds out that these twins are not on speaking terms anymore. And I'm guessing the journey kind of centers around the reason why that they're not talking anymore. I think the reason why this book is so forgettable for me, and I've never even thought about reading it, obviously because it's a contemporary, but honestly I'm not the biggest fan of the cover. I'm so attracted to illustrative covers. For instance, Bloody Rose, this cover is so eye-catching to me, and this just isn't. It is YA. I don't know why I thought for sure that this was adult, but it's YA. Now I'm far less excited to pick it up. The next book that I have here is The Bloodstained Winter by T.L. Greylock. The author actually sent this to me a few years ago, and I put it aside because it wasn't like a demanding review. I didn't request it, but I love the cover so much. It wasn't until recently when I started really getting involved into the adult SFF community when I started seeing this author's tweets about this book on Twitter and about how loved it is, and I was like, oh yeah, I have that book somewhere. So I dug it out, and now I have it placed among some of the books I'm really excited to get to. So now I'm really interested in it, when before it was kind of just cover appreciation. It's funny how things change like that, and I'm really happy I didn't unhaul it. This is a Norse mythology inspired story, and it's following a boy named Rafe who has always dreamed of going off to sea with a crew to find fame and to discover new lands. Unfortunately, he has to set his dreams aside because the king ends up dying, and duty calls him and his father to come back to a gathering to choose the next successor. So I expect lots of intrigue and bloodshed between those pages. Rafe is forced into an uneasy alliance while also watching three kings fight for the throne. I expect this one to be a pretty fast-paced read. I'm excited to get to it, and it's pretty short as well, and I believe the trilogy is finished. The next book is actually an ebook that I bought forever ago, and that is Awakens by Elise Kova. I mentioned earlier that illustrative covers are by far my favorite, and Elise Kova's covers are, my god, so freaking gorgeous, every single one of them. For example, I have another one of Elise Kova's books, and that is The Alchemist of Loom, which is a book that I have never forgotten about because of this beautiful hardcover edition that Elise actually sent me herself. Her books need to be framed, I swear. I think if I owned a physical copy of Awakens, it wouldn't be in this situation. I'd probably have it displayed in all its glory on my shelf, but it's just sitting here on my Kindle waiting to be read, and then I forget that it even exists. Also, everyone tells me that it's first and foremost a YA romance, and I refuse. I am in denial. Where's my disinfectant spray? I pray to the book gods that it's good and that the romance isn't forced and cringy. The one hope that I do have is that it's being compared to Avatar, so the main character is able to have wind power, kind of like this. And she's a library apprentice, and I just want to love this book so bad, and hopefully I just won't keep forgetting about it. The next book on this list is The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. I read this book right before the movie came out, so 2016, which I actually never ended up seeing the movie, but I really enjoyed the book at the time. I think I rated it 4 stars actually. It's a thriller mystery. It's a really fast read. It's very captivating, and it follows our main character Rachel, whose life is falling apart. She lost her job, she's an alcoholic, she lost her husband, and every day she takes a train into the city pretending to look for a job. But along the way, Rachel ends up creating this story for this perfect couple whose home the train passes every day, when suddenly the wife of that perfect couple ends up disappearing, and Rachel becomes obsessed with finding out what happened to her. The reason why I think this book is very forgettable for me, and there's no spoilers here, I promise, but the ending was very forgettable. Especially when you read a thriller, I expect the story to stick with me for months or even years. For example, Bird Box by Josh Malerman, that book has always stuck with me. I still think about it to this day, but not this one. I mean, I forgot that it even existed at the bottom of my shelf. This is a book where I feel like you can just get it from your library or buy it really cheap as an ebook, or if you find it really cheap used, then you can just read it in one sitting and then just leave it there. The next book I have is These Shallow Graves by Jennifer Donnelly. This is a YA historical fiction mystery, and I remember buying this one off of Book Outlet specifically for its title and the cover. I found it really creepy and ominous, but then I found out that it takes place in like 1890 New York, and it kind of left my radar after that. It's not really a setting that entices me, and it follows a girl named Jo whose basic mission is to try and find out who murdered her father. And it's really funny because this is the same author who wrote the Waterfire saga, which I own the first book right here, Deep Blue, which I forgot that I own as well. So like, there's something about this author where she will entice me to buy the book, but then I just won't read it, and I'll forget that I even have it, and I stow them away in a dark hole. So honestly, I should just read one of these books. I'm more interested in Deep Blue than The Shallow Graves, and I just need to see how her writing is. The next one is actually a graphic novel, and that is Motor Crush Volume 1. I read the first issue of this when it came out, and I really enjoyed it. So when the whole entire volume came out, I immediately got it, and it just totally slipped my mind for some reason. I don't know how that happened. Graphic novels can be read so quickly. I should have just like read this day one that I got it. But yeah, I have like a good size graphic novel TBR pile on my shelf. In fact, I should do like a reading vlog of me just reading through my graphic novels. I think I should do that. But anyways, I'm drifting away here. This is an LGBTQ plus sci-fi graphic novel. This follows our main character Domino, who is so freaking badass and interesting. I adored her from issue 1. I mean, she races freaking motorcycles. I'm turned on, to say the least. It takes place in the future, so there's a lot of robots and cool technology in general, and the races aren't like the main focal point of the story, if that's what you're worried about at all. The main focus is actually on this illegal drug called Crush that the writers use to enhance their bikes, but our main character has a secret of her own on how she is using this drug. Alright, I think I really need to do a reading vlog. There's so many like different types of reading vlogs I want to do. So maybe a graphic novel one will be another one I want to add to the list. I need to crush my graphic novel TBR. Get it? Because Motor Crush. You get it. Definitely setting this one aside so that I can get to it quickly. The next book is Illuminae by J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. I put this book far, far away within my memory because I can't stand this dust jacket. This is a very superficial and dumb reason to not read a very hyped book, but it's true. This dust jacket is the bane of my existence. I have this book wedged at the bottom of my bookshelf underneath like really heavy books to try and flatten this beast. But no, it's still obnoxious. But I will admit, let's just get that thing out of the way. I am very intimidated by the format of this book. It's different, and you know how we don't like different things. Change is scary. This is terrifying. It's either going to be super cool or it's going to feel like space homework. And I hated Earth homework, so I can't even imagine what space homework feels like. I know what you guys are going to say about this, and that if I read it, I'll probably love it. You're probably right. The next book is The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. I only just remembered that I even had this book, and plus the second one, just because of the hype that's surrounding her new epic fantasy series called Priory of the Orange Tree, which I'm super excited to get to, but this one came out in 2013. And I still haven't read it. It'll happen one day. This is supposed to be a bit of a denser YA sci-fi. Goodreads is telling me it's YA. Would Goodreads lie? Nah. So this follows a girl named Paige who is a clairvoyant, and she is a part of this elite group of humans who can sense spirits. However, the society that they live in looks down upon them and fears them enough that they are hunted down and even killed. The story is set in the future. It's set in England, which I feel like is one of the reasons why I kind of stowed it away. I was really hoping that this book was going to be in a fictional setting. I mean, there's nothing wrong with modern day settings. I just strive for like that fantasy made up world. We'll see where this one goes. I don't know. I've owned it for so long and I never picked it up, and I don't know if it's something I'm going to. We'll see, we'll see. And the final book that I keep forgetting that I own is Talon by Julie Kagawa. This is in the same situation as The Bone Season. The author recently came out with a new fantasy series, and it kind of clicked in my brain like, oh yeah, I also own her older fantasy series as well that I haven't even thought about in years. This is like a 5-book series. It's a YA fantasy. It kind of got away from me, honestly. But I'm still kind of interested in the story. It's supposed to be about dragons and about dragons disguised as humans, and they have to learn human activities and stuff while also doing secret dragony things. I'm explaining this very well. It sounds super cool, but like I said, it keeps slipping from my memory. Look at those end papers, they're so cool. Alrighty, so those are all the books that I keep forgetting that I freaking own. Tell me down below what books that you keep forgetting about. Look at your shelves right now and pick a book that you're like, oh yeah, I forgot that you existed. Go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up because it helps me out so much. And don't forget to subscribe. I upload videos every single week. Go ahead and follow me on my social media. I'm at Instagram at HollyHeartsBooks and on Twitter at HollyNiece. And until we meet again, happy reading.